After the beans have been blanched, they are now ready to be put into cans. This is done manually by the factory workers. After this, the beans are measured to ensure that they are of the required weight. Saucing is the cherry on the cake when it comes to canned food. It adds flavor to the beans, thus making it an important step of the canning process. The sauce was prepared in a different section of the company, then transferred via pipe and received on the other end. It would then be manually put in the already canned beans. After this, the cans would be sealed, ready for the next steps.
This is the seaming section, whereby we put the sauce to the product and then we seam the product. The product is ready now for sterilization. We sterilize our product at the retort section there. Immediately the can is seamed. We have a quality controller here who ensures that the hermetic seal is achieved so that the product inside is safe, so that there is no entry of any microorganisms outside, or anything that is inside can come out of the can.
After saucing and cleaning, the cans are then cleaned and packed ready to be taken for sterilization. Heat treatment of products is one of the main techniques in the food industry for food conservation. Heat treatment stops bacteria and enzyme activity, thus preventing a loss of quality and keeping food non-perishable. Sterilization is a controlled heating process used to completely eliminate all living microorganisms, including thermo-resistant spores in milk or other food. It can be achieved by moist heat, dry heat, filtration, irradiation, or by chemical methods. Compared to pasteurization, a heat treatment over 100 degrees centigrade is applied for a period long enough to lead to a stable product shelf life.
This is the retort basket. It's already full now. It's ready now to be taken to the sterilization section. The batch is already now full. Ready now to start the sterilization cycle. The product will stay inside there for about 2.5 hours. From there, the product will now be taken to the warehouse.
The final stages happen in the warehouse. Here, the product goes through coding, labeling and storage for a certain period of time before it is taken to the market. This is an important step because the aesthetic beauty of the product is the very key when it comes to customer attraction. The purpose of coding is to organize objects by their identification and assignment of symbols, whereby it is possible to find and recognize any object among many others. The code on the goods or packaging raises in addition the credibility of the company, plays the role of advertising of the product and the enterprise itself, and lastly increases the competitiveness of goods on the international market.
Immediately our product has been sterilized, we bring it to the warehouse, whereby warehouse activities are done. That is the coding, labeling, and then storage, awaiting 1 week. This 1 week is the duration we have given ourselves so that we incubate the product sample. We incubate for 7 days. We incubate at that 7 degrees temperature and 57. And then after 1 week, we get the product. We do the product analysis before we release the product to the market. So all our products, before we take it to the market, goes together with the COA, which shows the conformance according to our specification and also the requirement of the government.
Canned fruits and vegetables are picked at the peak of ripeness and canned within hours. This not only delivers long-term food quality and shelf life, but locks in food nutrients at their peak without the need to add preservatives. Steel cans are a total barrier against light which spoils food from its natural vitality. In fact, many canned products actually contribute more health-promoting nutrients than cooked fresh or frozen foods. We meet a nutritionist, Evans Kosgei-Toroitich, who tells us more on the benefits of canned food.
Canned foods, especially like legumes, you have your beans, sweet corn, it has first and foremost, the advantage is convenience. You're able to get these nutrients throughout the year, irrespective of the season. So that convenience of getting the nutrient when you need it, wherever you need it. So that's one of the biggest advantages of canning. Okay? That you're able to get this during the surplus time, and you can use it during times of deficit and wherever and whenever. The nutritive value tends to remain more or less the same. Okay? If you're looking at the protein content, all right, it doesn't vary too much from your other the normal legumes and what have you. Okay? The fiber you'll also get the same benefit for fiber as well. Okay. So for legumes, the protein content, the fiber content, and also the advantage of reduced what we call phytate or phytic acid. Okay, phytic acid basically is a component in food that binds iron, right? So it's there in legumes, red kidney beans. Most legumes tend to have them. So how you reduce them is through that process of cooking, so the phytates are reduced. Okay, so the iron that is there in legumes, canned legumes, is more available to the body than the iron that is there in your raw kidney beans, okay? Because of that process of cooking.
Just like everything else in the world, canning has its downside. A few of the disadvantages are that it requires a significant investment of time and equipment, and an inadequate processing or poor sanitation can result in a deadly contamination. Evans Kosgei tells us more on the disadvantages of canned food.
There are some things that we should be a bit careful with canned legumes, and one of them is the high sodium content, right? So if it's somebody who has pressure, somebody who has kidney issues, that high sodium content can be an issue, okay? But for the general healthy population, it may not be an issue, right? So we need to individualize. If you have a problem with hypertension, renal problems, kidney problems, then canned food is something that you need to be careful with. Cornstarch can be used in order to make that. You've seen that sort of soup So sometimes cornstarch can be used to make that sort of stew around baked beans and what have you. Okay. So for persons who are on a weight loss program and what have you, then maybe they need to be careful with cornstarch. Interior lining of the can itself, right? It's made in such a way that you call aseptic, right? So in terms of hygiene, the levels of hygiene need to be very high, and most companies tend to stick to that, because if you don't, then chances of those bacterial contamination, any small bacterial contamination can be very lethal.
There is a big debate on which is better than the other, canned food or fresh food. Michigan State University conducted a research to find out which one is better nutritionally. The study results clearly outlined how canned fruits and vegetables uniquely address health and cost issues by combining canned food nutrition, affordability and convenience.
For the general, normal, healthy, active population, I will not worry about it. So it needs to be individualized. Yeah. What is your current physical state? Do you have any other underlying condition? So those are the things that you need to keep in mind. But if you're healthy, you're physically active, you can use the calories that are there in canned products, then there's no need to worry so much about anything.
That's it for today's show. We hope you enjoyed it. Keep it KTN Farmers TV.